Hey y'all, since we're kind of talking about the whole Iran situation and the fact that they cannot have a nuclear bomb, and that was the whole point of these bombings, these strategic targets. Anyway, I know that the Iran nuclear deal was back in like 2015. Trump got him out of it or got us out of that deal and then put more sanctions on Iran, and then I think Biden came along and took them off. So, anyways, it's been this vicious cycle, and I guess they've been working on their nuclear program anyway. But let's just read through this one. This is kind of a fact check thing. So, this is the Center for Arms Control and Non-proliferation. There was a proliferation treaty in non-proliferation, so they don't get a hold of nuclear weapons or make it to the dangerous points. But anyway, so the Iran nuclear deal correcting misconceptions. One the misconception is the Iran deal included a U.S. payment of $150 billion to Iran. The facts, the money that Iran receives from complying with the agreement is not a direct payment from the U.S. government. Instead, the funds are Iranian foreign assets which the international sanctions regime prevented Iran from accessing. Under the JCPOA, these nuclear related sanctions were waived after Iran verifiably completed its initial obligations. I guess we can look at that later. Anyway, so the $150 billion figure is also inaccurate. The amount of money Iran could access from these foreign services is about 100 billion. Of this amount, about half of it is tied up in Iranian foreign debts. As Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew testified before Congress, the actual amount that Iran will be able to use is about $50 billion. New misconception: the Iran deal included a ransom payment for hostages. The facts: after implementation of the Iran deal, the United States sent $1.7 billion to Iran. Some are now claiming this was a ransom payment for the return of American citizens that were being held hostage by Iran. Lisa Grosh, a legal advisor for the State Department or the Department of State, testified before Congress that the $1.7 billion was comprised of $400 million that Iran had placed in a U.S. foreign military sales trust fund and $1.3 billion in interest. At the time of the Iran deal negotiations, the United States and Iran were involved in a legal arbitration case over the amount of interest the U.S. owed on this fund. As for the fact that the payment coincided with the hostages' release, Suzanne Maloney of the Brookings Center explains that the settlement and the prisoner release were two separate channels. Once the settlement of the claim was determined, the U.S. simply did not issue payment until the separately negotiated prisoner release was completed. 3. Misconception: the breakout time is the time needed to develop a nuclear bomb. The facts: under the JCPOA, Iran's breakout time is evaluated to be at least 1 year, but there is an important distinction between the breakout time and the amount of time needed to develop a credible nuclear weapon. A country's breakout time is the time required to produce enough weapons grade uranium or plutonium for one nuclear weapon. The International Atomic Energy Agency estimates this amount to be about 25 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, or 90% or more of enrichment. However, even if Iran had the required amount and enrichment level of uranium for a nuclear bomb, it would still need time to develop a viable weapon. This includes miniaturization, miniaturizing a nuclear weapon to be attached to a missile. Oh my goodness, that was hard to say. to a missile and producing a missile that functions accurately and reliably. Both of these developments are challenging and time consuming. Furthermore, one untested nuclear weapon is not enough for a credible deterrent. And then misconception, the Iran deal stopped Iran's nuclear program. The facts. The objective of the JCPOA was to verifiably constrain Iran's nuclear program and impede progress toward a nuclear weapon. However, the agreement does permit Iran to keep a comparatively small amount of monitored low enriched uranium. Thus, the Iran deal does not extinguish all Iranian nuclear activity, but constrains and restricts Iran's ability to obtain a nuclear weapon. To learn more about Iran's obligations under the agreement, view the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation's fact sheets. Let's see what this has. I'm just curious. Okay, that may not be. I don't know where that other one went. That's okay. Okay, so understanding the Iran. Well, I mean, we already looked at that, I think. Yeah, this is the same page. There's so many other things. Okay, that's something else. Pretty much the JCPOA, or Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which we've already kind of looked at, preventing uranium bomb, preventing a plutonium bomb, monitoring, verification, and transparency, longevity, sanctions. We've already looked at some of this today if you've been keeping up, and accountability and enforcement. That's why I just put them in the that same like playlist, and you can go through all of them. But anyway, I'll continue to make more videos. I'm probably done for today. I don't know. I may look at a couple more things, maybe, because I'm still trying to get stuff loaded up. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good afternoon. See y'all. Bye.